Hello everyone, this video is about top 10 warriors of all time. Number 10. Sun Tzu. A man or a legend, skilled and experienced in warfare matters during a time of unexperienced political and military turmoil. Sun Tzu was a military specialist, active during the turbulent late Zhou dynasty. However, he became a legend for writing about Chinese military strategy and martial arts in the Art of War book, a book that continues to have an immense impact on both Asian and Western culture. Number 9. Xiao Dun. Xiao Dun offered his services as military general to warlord Cao Cao in the late Eastern Han Dynasty. He became a legend when during a battle he was hit by a stray arrow and lost his left eye. In front of his amazed soldiers and enemies alike, he pulled out the arrow and swallowed his own eyeball. Following this incident, enemy armies across China were afflicted by fear of blind Xiao, the one-eyed warrior. Number 8. Hannibal. Hannibal was born in 247 before Christ, during a period when the kingdom had just lost a long important war with Rome, and with it many territories. But Hannibal was meant to conquer many of these lands once he became an adult. It is believed that Hannibal was one of the greatest generals and military leaders of the ancient world and a brilliant strategist, who developed tactics of outflanking and surrounding the enemy with the combined forces of infantry and cavalry. His wars with the Roman Empire were some of the most epic of all antiquity. Pyrrhus the Great. Pyrrhus was the king of Greek Molosians and the one who gave the Romans hell. He was the first and the last only threat to Rome during its prime at the beginning of the empire. Actually, he was the only man who kept beating the Roman legions. Some historians think that history would have been different if Pyrrhus had not been murdered in Argos. Hannibal considered him the best general and the greatest warrior king to ever live. Some of his battles, although victories, were so bloody and resulted in a terrible loss of life for his own men that they gave rise to the term Pyrrhic victory, an expression still in use today, especially in sports and politics. Number 6. Richard the Lionheart. Richard was King of England, later known as the Lionheart, famous for his exploits in the Third Crusade. Although during his 10-year reign he spent only 6 months in England, he is described as an extremely skilled warrior who showed no mercy to his enemies. His most famous attribute was his courage and daring. They did not call him Lionheart for nothing. Number 5. Miyamoto Musashi. Musashi was a skilled Japanese swordsman and an invincible ronin. Ronin was a samurai without a lord or master. He became a legend, mainly because of his remarkable swordsmanship in numerous duels. From the age of 13, he was the founder of the knit-and-rue style of swordsmanship. Late in his life, after he had perfected his two swords fighting style, he ascended a mountain and wrote a book of 5 rings. Many historians and experts consider him the greatest swordsman who ever lived. Number 4. Julius Caesar. Caesar is arguably the most famous and successful Roman statesman and general in history. He was the one who led the Rome's army in numerous victorious battles that expanded its territory. Further, he wrote about his military adventures, from which we learn about his genius and bravery on the battlefield. Considered to be the greatest and most successful Georgian ruler in history, an original architect of the Georgian Golden Age, he was just 16 when he was crowned as the king of the country, which was in great chaos. He succeeded in driving the Seljuk Turks out of the country, winning the major, miraculous Battle of the Gori. His reforms of the army and administration enabled him to unite the country and bring most of the lands of the Caucasus under Georgia's control. A friend of the church and a notable promoter of Christian culture, nicknamed Sword of the Messiah. Number 2. The Mongol Destroyer. He set in motion the conquest of the whole world and is widely considered one of the greatest vanquishers of all time. His people believed that he was the greatest man and that he was sent from heaven, which is the reason why he was known as the Holy Warrior. Plus, 5% of the whole population today is his direct descendant. Imagine how cool he was. And number one of my top 10 list goes to undefeated Alexander the Great. Though he died at age 33, the famous Greek king managed to conquer most of the known world, and this is the reason why most historians consider him the greatest general who ever lived. He also fought on the front lines of every battle, unlike many other kings who just watched their troops fighting. He remained undefeated and took over every major kingdom of his day, such as Persia, India, and Egypt. I admire him because he did all those things when he was so young. Was the video about top 10 greatest soldiers of all time. Subscribe my channel and see more videos about top 10s. Farewell.